Today, I'm going to be coaching you through what is probably my best all-around Warzone 2 game yet. My teammate and I here are playing duo trios, and we go on to drop double 20s here, 40 kills total. And yes, most importantly, we do pick up the win. We perfectly play the end game, so we're going to really be breaking that down. But until then, let's focus on a lot of other things. Early game, gameplay strategy. How do we determine where to rotate? How do we space and position ourselves in gunfights? Everything that goes into us dropping a high kill game. Now, starting off with early game, we like to drop Observatory for three main reasons. You don't have to, but early game is generally hot at Observatory, so we can pick up a few kills. Number two is Observatory generally has good cash flow, which is probably the most important thing when it comes to getting off to a good start. There's usually always one of these potential strongholds, and those potential strongholds either mean it's going to be a stronghold and we can defuse the bomb, kill the AI, and get our loadout, or if it's not an actual stronghold building, we can go in there, grab the 2 silver crates, and we've got plenty of cash flow to get our game going. Finally, guys, because it's the highest point on the map, we can fly basically anywhere we want to. Hydroelectric, village, pass, any of the surrounding areas based on the information that we get, but we'll talk about that later. When it comes to early game, I'm looking for two things. I'm looking for an SMG and I'm looking for a 3-plate vest. Once I get those two things, I start to pay attention a little bit more to what's going on around me. I mean, more importantly, the gun than the 3-plate vest, but, start paying attention to what's going on. If you don't have a gun at all, you need to find that first and foremost, because you can't do anything without that. Now, right here, TCap's got a 3-plate vest. I do not, but we do know that the bounty is somewhere close by, and I catch him right there. I would recommend that you live ping enemies for your teammates. It's just an easy way of communication. It clears up the over there, the to your right, all that stuff, because you get the live ping. Now, when we talk about spacing, and I'm going to throw a lot at you guys today. I promise you, I'm going to throw a lot. So just take away little bits and pieces here and work on them one day at a time. But look at our spacing. So TCap's going to be shooting him from this way, and this enemy is just full sending TCap. The first thing this guy says right here is, oh, on me, and this guy pushes over. Our spacing easily allows us to get those 2 kills. Now, I make a mistake here, and it's going to cost me, which is I forgot we were in trios. I mean, I guess the tip there is always remember what game mode you're in. It is what it is. It happens. But another tip that you can have as TCap gets that wipe is never forget about the other enemies. If you get a down in thirst or even 2 downs in thirst, make sure you're aware that there could be another enemy close by. Biggest thing for Goose right here, guys, always pay attention to the gun that you have. Right here, I know that I have the 8-round P890, which means I'd probably have to reload at some point, versus if you have the 17-round X12, you can just go ahead and shoot away, and you're very rarely going to have to reload. Right there, I get the break. He does replate. You can replate in Goose. My teammate's going to get that kill. Unfortunately, I don't get any, but I am back, which is the most important thing. Now, as we're flying back in, guys, once again, I just need to find a 3-plate vest. Once I get a 3-plate vest, that opens up a lot of possibilities when it comes to challenging enemies. We're back down. I just push forward about 10 seconds. We get the TAC V back, or the TAC 56. I'm not sure which one it is. And the Fennec, and we hear this guy right here. Fortunately, no audio for him. He was going over towards that safecracker, which just a little bit of an awareness thing, guys. Make sure you're taking note of that. That is an enemy safecracker, and you've got to assume that at some point they're going to be pushing over to get that. Now, the stronghold is going to open right about now. 10 seconds before the first circle starts to close is when the stronghold opens. So as TCap's looting that, getting all the cash in there, if you are looking to get better at Warzone 2, just consider subscribing down below. I'm a 3 KD player in Warzone 2, and my whole goal is just to help you improve. I do videos just about every single day, so if you are looking to get better, just consider subscribing below. If you are subscribed, thank you so much for the continued support. Just make sure you hit that thumbs up button. I appreciate it. Let's go ahead and jump back in here, guys. We've got UAV. Biggest thing I want you to note here is the fact that we just mark where on the minimap this one team is. We only get one ping on the minimap, but I'm actually going to mark it. This way, once we get our loadout guns, which we'll talk about here in a second, we kind of know where there's at least one team. By that time, the UAV is going to run out. We're not going to know exactly where they rotated to, but we have a general direction that we can then go. We have a general idea of, okay, let's go push this way and see if we can find that team again. We get the 3-plate vest, and now we go ahead and rotate over to Lodi. 2 big changes that they made recently. One of them we did have the opportunity to use in this game. The other one we did not. Primary guns now cost $2,500 in the buy station. Previously, they were $5,000. So you can now buy a primary and essentially your secondary gun. You can buy an RPK and a Fennec, as long as you have it set up correctly, for $5,000. Number 2 is there are now loadout drops in this game. We did not have the option to buy a loadout drop. That change happened after this gameplay. Loadout drops cost $8,000 in solos, $16,000 in duos, 24,000 in trios, and 32,000 in quads. Yes, it is expensive. At the end of the day, what it comes down to is 5,000 for both your guns and 3,000 per perks. and that's every single player. So it's 8,000 per player to get your loadout, and that's all across. Once again, you see us marking enemies on the map, so this way we know where to go. He's going to drop me money. We're going to buy the RPK there for 2,500. We're then going to buy the Baznev for 2,500, and we can start to roll. Now, I'm just going to immediately start to push. I want to capitalize, you know, while I have this information up and figure out, okay, you know, what's happening over this way. Once again, I'm going to forget that we're in trios. I'm going to be honest, I forget that we're in trios for the first half of this game. I'm going to keep making this mistake, and it's a little bit tougher. It's just one of those things when you are queuing duo trios or trio quads, if you're at that level, like, you've got to be aware of that scenario, especially because we were playing duos for most of the night. Now, right here, let's talk about positioning. You know, I've got this guy flying in, or this guy running right below me. We see him right about here, and I'm just going to position high ground here. I'm looking for two things when we talk about positioning: high ground and cover. I've got high ground, and I'm just going to play a little bit patient until he gets out in the open. Now, one thing that I want to tell you guys, this isn't Battlefield, right? Buildings don't fall, so there's not a lot of movement on this map. So if you are looking at this guy straight ahead and you see this little bit of movement, that's most likely a player. So I snap over that way. We're able to get the down. I somehow don't get this thirst. I don't know, but I thought for sure I was going to be able to. TCAP's going to go push that guy, and now I'm going to challenge. Now, when we challenge this guy here, I'm going to pull this back for a second once I get this kill, once you see how I get it. Okay, we get that knock pretty easy. But here's my thought process. If I push around this corner, so I'm going to quickly check in here. I don't really see much. I don't really get much. If he is not around this corner, he most likely pushed into the building. But if I check in the building and he's not in there, he's probably long gone at that point. He's probably long gone down the hill. So I'm going to clear this backside first, and then if he's not here, then he's got to be in the building, and I can just go push in. But he ends up being here, so we're able to get that knock. Now, I hear shooting over to my right, so I immediately focus over this way. Now, this is a little bit of a tough play. One, I don't see this guy because I'm actually looking with my eyes. So this guy's right in front of me, but I'm like, even though my crosshairs are here, I'm like scanning over this way and over this way with my eyes, which is why I don't see him. Like, he's literally dead smack in front of me. We end up just having to make a move, little bit of jump, little drop shot in the bush. Somehow we're able to bail ourselves out. I'm going to throw the smoke simply because I know there's other enemies behind us on that UAV. This buys me enough time to go ahead and, you know, get the thirst plate up, and then we can go ahead and re-engage. Then we got 4 kills. We've got 44 other teams, so we're definitely off to a really good start here. We've got good cash flow still. We still have enough for another UAV if we need it, and we know exactly where these enemies are. Now, watch how I clear this building, guys. When you think about clearing buildings, which is one of the most important parts of this game, when you think about clearing buildings, you are just like checking corners, right? So is he in this corner? No. Is he in this corner? No. Is he in this corner? Yes. Okay, now we shoot. So you're going to see me here. I actually make a little bit of a dumb play. I mean, this mortar was on top of the roof. He's not going to be up there. Then I clear this corner, and I don't see him. So he's got to be down below somewhere. Now I clear this corner over here. Thankfully, I get the no audio bug where he doesn't hear my footsteps, and we're able to get that knock. Now, we still know that there's one other enemy floating around here somewhere because I get snapshotted. That's a little bit of awareness. Once again, we see that safecracker right there, so we know they're around. And I make a little bit of an aggressive play here. But the RPK, guys, is just so good. And I'll put that build down in the comments below for you. It's clearly right now the best primary gun that you can use. It's very easy to use. It's good at range. It's got an incredible TTK. Only downside is the mobility and the ADS time. But besides that, guys, it absolutely fries people. So we're able to get that kill. TCAP knows that I apologize. I take that back. We'd only killed one enemy. That was enemy number 2. And TCAP goes, there's still one floating around here somewhere. So we're just going to go ahead and clear the building. Watch how we clear. Is he in here? No. Is he in the bathroom? No. Is he around this corner? No. Let's go push up the stairs. We run into him there. I don't know if he dev-aired, lagged out, what, but we're able to get that kill. We've got 7 kills and 42 other enemies so far. Now let's talk about what to do from here. This is where I think a lot of you struggle. I think a lot of you struggle with, what do we do in this moment? We don't know where anybody is. We don't have any bounty contracts. There's no cars around. Like, what exactly should you do? What we're going to end up doing, guys, is we're going to go ahead and grab the car. You know, this is where we slow down just a little bit. It's a little bit out of our way here to grab the car. Well, except if we're rotating the Hydro, which we end up doing. But it's a little bit of a hike or a little bit of a long run to go get this. But in the long run, it is going to benefit us. We're going to use this car for a very long time. And if there's one thing that I really wish you could start to do more of and take away from today's video, it's going to be to start to rotate in cars a little bit more. It increases your mobility. You can move much quicker. You're going to end up running into teams like we're about to right right here, and it's a little bit of a safer, it's a lot safer way to rotate. So we run into a team right here. Notice that we don't immediately just jump out here, right? So we run into team number 1 who starts shooting at us because people just can't resist the urge. And we're going to go ahead and push up the hill. The other thing to note, guys, look at the damage. TCAP and I took absolutely no damage there. So they shot at us. Now we have information about where they are. We're going to go ahead and jump out. I'm going to be honest, guys. Once again, I forgot that we were playing trios. This is the last time, I promise. This is the last time that I forget we're playing trios. But here's the RPK for you. There's enemy number 1. There's enemy number 2. Enemy number 3 shoots me in the back, and I'm like, there's another team here. There's another team here, because if it was duos, there would be. TCAP's able to clean that up because of our spacing. Notice where he's at. He's perfectly right. You know, he's... Oh, wait, that guy was right there. I didn't even see him down here. He's right on my camera angle, right about here. I did not see this guy until right at this moment. He shoots me right there. TCAP's able to kill him. Now I'm able to go ahead. He's going to revive me. So let's go ahead and fast forward this, guys. We're going to just head back into the... We're going to loot up real quick. You don't want to spend too much time looting because you know third-party situations can happen. So we're going to prioritize plates here, especially at this moment when we can still find plenty of ammo. We're going to go back to the car, and now we're going to take note of loadouts, guys. Loadout drops do come in the second circle. That's another change that they recently made. And we're going to go ahead and grab loadout. You know, we've got our loadout guns, but we do not have perks up until this point. So we're going to go ahead and try to get our perks. You know, whether it's double time or, you know, fast hands is great for reload and stuff. Whether it is high alert, you know, that ultimate perk only works in those default loadouts. So we want to try to get at least high alert or ghost or something like that. Now we're going to go ahead, once again, let's slow down just a little bit. We've got 9 kills, still a lot of teams left. Let's go ahead and buy UAV and see what we can find. And the reason that we did this, guys, is because we were already kind of committed to going over to loadout. But think about those. Those are free loadouts, right? So you can have a lot of teams in that area. I'd rather have a UAV to know exactly what we're going into. Where are teams, you know, camping the loadout? Are there 2 teams? Are there 3 teams? Are there no teams? That UAV gives us that information. Now, once again, guys, we get shot at. So TCAP actually makes the comment, hey, do you want to fight this? And I say, yeah, let's go ahead and fight this. Let's go ahead and get in this action here. Let's act on it. So he's going to pop UAV. Now, this is a great example right here of the change of pace with Warzone 2. And I want to really highlight this compared to Warzone 1. We're going to play positioning, guys. If you notice, I'm always looking to play a rooftop. And no, a lot of you are going to be like, Joe, all this game is anymore is just people camping on rooftops. I'm not camping up here. I'm positioning myself. Are there people that camp on a rooftop? Sure. But there's a difference between just sitting on a rooftop and not moving versus positioning yourself on a rooftop. If somebody's camping there and you're pushing in, you may get killed every once in a while, but for the most part, you should be acting based on information. Unfortunately, TCAP goes down right there, but he did get a kill right before he did that. So I know it is a 1v2, and we're just going to play this a little bit patient. They know that I'm up here because they popped a UAV, so I'm right there's the UAV. I'm trying to get them to commit, right? I can't just full send this anymore. If this was Warzone 1, I'm pushing in, baby. We're slide canceling, we're breaking cameras, we're strafing, we're jump peeking, all that stuff. Doesn't work in Warzone 2 anymore. So I know that they're below me. The only way that they can get up is either on this ladder or this ladder. So I'm constantly checking those, but I need to find a way to get a down and thirst real quick, or at least a down so that I can push in, knowing that there are only 2 enemies left here. Thankfully, I did remember that this was trios this time. So finally, we get that kill right there. Now, what does this enemy do? I want you to think for a second. What mistake did this enemy make? What is one thing besides the UAV that could give away where I am? Guys, pay attention to shadows. Right? That shadow's moving. I mean, you should be able to pick up on that. He doesn't, and it cost him. I'm able to get the down and thirst right there. And now we know that there is only 1 other left. Whoever just subscribed, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. But watch how we clear this. When we jump peek, guys, if you didn't see my movement video, I'll leave that video for you down in the comments below for you to watch after. But the biggest thing, guys, is when you jump peek these corners, you got to hip fire first. Notice the hip fire. I'm still not ADS'd at this point fully, and he's already broken. We're able to mix in that headshot. Then we're able to get that team wipe. So we got 11 kills. Gotta love good precision airstrikes. Nothing's changed since Warzone 1, but we're able to go ahead and self-revive here. TCAP ends up breaking his legs for a second. He lagged a little bit. Our ping was high this game. We're still having the issue with our ping a little bit, but TCAP's gonna go ahead. He's going to be able to, I'm going to be able to revive him. And now we can start to work over here. Let me go ahead and fast forward here. I'm going to go ahead and grab the car. He's going to go ahead and loot up all his stuff. And we keep in mind, guys, we didn't have perks, so we didn't lose a whole lot in that scenario. Besides, now we don't have any gouges, right? So we just got to focus a little bit more on cash flow. And we're going to go ahead and drive over here. When in doubt, play it safe, I think would be the lesson that I want to teach you right here. I thought there was somebody straight ahead. I'm still, like, not now that I see it, it's not. But I thought there was a guy sitting right here, which is why I hop out of here. And I'm like, oh, is this somebody? And then I'm like, oh, no, that's not anybody. So we're going to go ahead. I'll fast forward this. We're going to go grab Lodi. Loadout ends up being on top of the bridge right here. So we can grab our high alert. And then we're in a much better position. And high alert is actually really beneficial on the big map, guys. You're going to see that in a second here. Straight back in the car after we buy a UAV. And then we can go ahead and we keep rolling. You know, we're acting a lot on UAVs right now, and that's how we're finding people. TCAP sees one flying in, so we're going to go ahead and push over. By the way, just a little bit of a smart play here. If I die right now, guys, with $5,000, then TCAP's kind of in a bad spot. TCAP's got to go through this whole entire regame process. I'm not saying you should do this all the time, but I'm going to drop that money just in case anything happens, right? Because then I can say, oh, there's a $5,000 bag right by the building. It's just a little bit of an IQ play that you can use. TCAP ends up getting the kill here, and then he gets sniped from a random sniper. So when we talk about information, now they just gave away their positioning a little bit. We don't know exactly where they are, but we've got another team to engage. And you see thus far, we've always been acting on some piece of information. We haven't really been wandering. And when we have been wandering, it's been in a car, and then somebody shoots at us, and we just get to a spot where we can go ahead and challenge that team. Now, I am going to grab the 5K. Instead of trying to fight this guy, because that's just a really far range, he's got high ground, and he has the sniper. Let's go ahead, and I tag him a little bit just here. Let's go ahead and grab the car. Let's go ahead and grab the car. Let's be smart here. Be careful rotating without the car, guys. There's a lot of times where TCAP and I still do this, where we use a car a lot, and then we just kind of leave it, and there's no reason to leave it. Like, we rotate a little bit to get the car, and it just gives us a much safer way to rotate, which you're going to see right here. We're going to go ahead and challenge that team. I'm going to grab TCAP so he doesn't get sniped. I'm going to 3, 2, 1. I count down, and I say, I'm going to swap seats so I can pop this UAV. Be ready to drive. TCAP's ready to drive right there, sort of. And now we see the guys rotating over to the right. You see him right here, floating around this way. Yep, there they are. And I'm like, I'm out of here. I'm going to get to cover. TCAP's going to use the car. And now we can actually engage, guys. And when we talk about using the car here, this is a great example of what happens to a lot of you. How many times has this happened to you where you're rotating out on foot, and there's nothing you can do here. There's nowhere you can go. That's a pretty easy kill. I don't know what happened. I guess TCAP ran over one. But, like, that's a pretty easy kill for us right there that we just get because we're in a car and we have cover and they are rotating out in the open. So really be careful about that. Now, we immediately start to push over. We're a little bit in a tough spot here because we no longer have our car. We kind of lost our car. It got blown up. So now we're just going to go ahead and rotate over, play a little bit of high ground. Sorry about that. Once again, guys, when we talk about positioning, I'm looking for high ground and cover. I'm looking for high ground and cover and try to hold people out of circle, which is what we're doing right here. We're trying to get to a position where I can just beam these guys and try to see where they are. Now, right here, I still don't know where they are. I know that they're rotating over somewhere, but we're going to go ahead and push up top here. We're going to play the rooftop once again, and you kind of see that common theme. If I can get to a position where I can grab a rooftop, I'm absolutely going to. I preemptively... Do you notice that? I preemptively equip my precision airstrike. This way, if I need to use it immediately, I knew I had it in there. Now you're going to see me be able to use this thing immediately. We're going to get the knock right there as I'm mounted. We're going to immediately call in the precision. And you guys remember the last situation? You guys remember the situation before where I didn't get that kill with the precision airstrike and it was super frustrating? Notice how I precision ahead of where he's going. I precision a little bit ahead so that he kind of crawls into it a little bit. We get the kill confirmed and we get that second knock. So that's where I think when you are precisioning, guys, make sure that your precision airstrike, it goes ahead of where you think they're going to be moving to. Now we got the knock. We know that there's at least one over this way somewhere. You know, at least one other one besides that guy. So we are going to go push over. It's the only information that we have. Now we've got to be smart here because we're kind of, you know, playing on the edge of zone a little bit. There is a ton of cover in here. There's a bunch of buildings. But what ends up happening is we can't really find them. As I fast forward this, you're going to see us just kind of push through these areas. We can't figure out where they are. I'm clearing this building, but I can't really find them. I'm clearing one level at a time. I'm pushing around this way. Can't find them. And look at our zone pull. You know, as soon as we get this zone pull, guys, we got to start thinking about where to next. Like, we got to start thinking about our rotation. And what's the first thing that you notice here? What is the number one thing besides the zone rotation? You should be thinking something in this very moment, which is this right here. This car right here, guys. That is our mode of transportation. We don't want to be caught rotating up the hill, especially because we know that there's teams around us. And think about this, guys. When you think about hot areas of the map, would you bet money that there's a team up at Observatory? I would. There's probably a team up there. So the car is going to be our mode of transportation. Not yet, though, because we hear a team up here. We hear some shooting up here, trying to figure out exactly where they are. By the way, 13 kills, still 23 other teams. We notice that guy. TCAP's able to get that kill. Now, this is where high alert is super beneficial. I'm getting high alerted in the back. We're going to end up being able to challenge some snipers that are straight ahead of us. Remember, this guy was shooting at somebody. When we talk about information, you hear this guy shooting. He was shooting at somebody. He's not just shooting in the sky at a bird. Like, he's actually shooting at enemies, which are somewhere over this direction. I don't even think that it was the guy that high alerted based on where he was shooting, based on where he was positioned. So as I turn this corner and I'm trying to see what I can find, we get the sniper glint right there. Sure enough, there's one sniper right there. There's going to be one sniper over to the left right there. And so we play a little bit of cover. Once again, we don't have a ton of high ground here, but we do have enough cover, and he's not going to be able to see me. It's going to be really tough for him to see me. So we're able to tag him. We're going to shoot through the other window. Can't quite get that down. So in this moment right here, guys, this is where my mind switches. And I say, instead of trying to fight these guys now, let's fight them later. Let's get to a better position. Let's use the car to rotate. And then from there, it's a matter of just executing, because there's nothing that those guys can actually do. They have to rotate to us. So let's go ahead and push ahead, and we'll be the ones in the better spot. We can really use this car to get up a lot of different rocks, but we're going to end up taking the long way here and push up the hill. So, by the way, if you made it this far, I really appreciate it. You're in for an absolutely incredibly well-executed endgame right here. Just a perfect endgame to clutch this up. Now, right here, we see the buyback. So we know that there's people around us, and as soon as we get out, which was a tough spot to get out, we get shot at and high alerted in the back. Now, we hear one straight ahead of us, so we're able to get that knock. As I told you earlier, immediately focus on this next enemy. I'm not too concerned about that. We'll get that thirst. I'm worried about this guy pushing over here. So we're going to frag the backside. And as I'm pushing up, I see him peek right here and then dip back. So where's the only place he can go? The only place he can go is around this side. That allows us to get an easy down and thirst right there. Now there's another one. Right? So when this is kind of a weird play, because I get the thirst and that guy opened the door, but it's not TCAP. And I don't know what made me realize that. I just got a little bit lucky there in terms of awareness that for the first time, the names didn't perfectly line up. But something dawned on me and said, oh, that's another enemy. So we've got 17 other teams, guys. 17 other teams. There are still so many people here. And I, of course, my thought process is a UAV, which unfortunately we can't get. Super unfortunate. Still got to remember that that team is rotating up the hill somewhere. Now, in this moment, TCAP and I are going back and forth. Do we rotate right and try to grab, you know, like this building or somewhere? Or do we rotate left? And we end up deciding TCAP gets one kill right there. We've got 14 and 15. So we're at 29 already, guys. So we're going to pick up another 11 kills right here. We're going to pick up another 11 kills to finish this game off in clutch. All based on positioning, which we'll really focus on. Now, right here, you can see us going back and forth. We're, like, really thinking about which way we want to go. And which way would you go? I mean, think about which way would you end up rotating here. I'm thinking about power position, and I'm thinking about cover. Well, the three things, as always, in circle with cover, then power position. Power position, which everybody says is high ground, doesn't do you much good if you're just a sitting duck and you're just caught, like, you're going to get shot in the back. And I'll show you that in a second here, where, you know, there's going to be teams that have high ground, have power position, but because they don't have a ton of cover, they just get absolutely smoked by us. Right here, we're going to go ahead and push up, and that was TCAP's ping. That was not him saying there's an enemy there. TCAP was actually saying, hey, let's go grab this building. Let's grab the roof of this building, or even this one right here. That's going to put us in a really good position. Now, we're going to get Prox Chat here in a second, guys. Prox Chat over, I don't know where, but as I'm kind of checking to clear this, we end up getting one right here, and the Vaznev's able to take him out. We're able to hit all of our shots. And right as I go to get that kill and think about if I want to push up, I get high alerted in the back. Once again, high alert's just a really, really good option on this map, especially if you struggle with awareness. So now, not only does that save my life, but now I know he's over here. I see him right there. I see him push into the building, and he throws a really good Semtex, but he can't push this, guys. He's not going to push out in the open and try to full challenge me. My whole goal at this point is just to try to get to the roof of this building. Make a little bit of an aggressive play, thinking I might be able to 1v2, and then I'm like, that's just not the smart play here. Let's just get to the roof, get to this power position with cover area, as opposed to trying to ego chow, and now we can start to figure out where they are. TCAP's going to end up getting one down backside this way, and I wait for this teammate to come res. I'm trying to bait the res a little bit. I'm trying to wait. Oh, come res, and then the moment he doesn't, we get that kill. And we're going to end up getting one more. There's still one floating around here. We just don't know exactly where he is. 15 kills. We got 10 other teams now. We still got 22 other enemies. We got the guy right there, and I'm just trying to wait for him to push. Like, I'm just going to play this a little bit patient. We get that knock. We get that kill. 16-9 other teams, 21 other players. So right here, here's what we're looking at, guys. We're just going to play high ground for a little bit, right? We're just going to play this top observatory. We're going to slow down. We know that we need to kind of get somewhere over here. We're not going to be able to push all the way to the other side of the circle, but we want to see what's going on over this way. I see this enemy right there. Once again, you see the live ping that I mentioned earlier. We're able to get that knock, get that thirst. 17 kills, 8 other teams. And we keep getting high alerted. Now, when you get high alerted this much, like, I was convinced it was somebody in the air just because, like, there wasn't it wasn't like a common theme of where we were getting high alerted from. You still can't assume that, though. You can't fully assume that there's nobody around. And let's pause. Let's back up. You can't fully assume that there's nobody around, right? And that that it's just somebody flying in. That's how you end up getting beamed. Now, I ended up thinking we should rotate to this building, and then TCAP goes, hold on. Let's slow down. Let's slow this and rotate in with gas right here. Let's see what's going on, which is why I immediately pushed back up. I deliberately jumped down, and then we ended up pushing back up. TCAP sees this guy, and now we can just kind of hold them out of zone here. You know, this is where we have a little bit of positioning, and we can just kind of wait for them. They have to push to us. And when we talk about positioning, you know, being on the inside or not having to rotate before another team does, just puts us in a really good spot to pick up free kills. And we're waiting and waiting and waiting, and then we gotta go. Like, we're not gonna waste our gas mask over this. Let's go ahead and start to play positioning here. Now, what ends up happening, TCAP makes an absolutely incredibly game-changing call right here, which is I didn't realize this whole hill was in circle. So when we talk about in circle with cover, then power position, with which, yeah, if you have cover, you know, power position is going to be your high ground. That's the ideal spot to be. It's only when you have high ground with no cover that you're in a really bad spot. We're actually gonna, I think we actually pick up a few kills from somebody up here. I think, if I remember correctly. We get one right there, down, Thurston. Oh, yeah, he's up top here, right? So this guy's like a sitting duck. He's got high ground, but he has no cover. He has nowhere to go, and we just end up torching him. That's a pretty easy kill. 18 kills, 5 other teams, 10 other people left. We're in a really good spot right here, especially because look at the circle pole. We got circle pole. Also, keep in mind, there could be potentially people rotating behind us, right? We haven't exactly, we got 18 and 18 at this point, so 36. Keep in mind, there could be people rotating in. We never got the kills from the people that were behind us, so they could absolutely still be rotating in. That's where one of the biggest tips I can give you is never forget where people are. Never forget, especially because it determines where you rotate to next. So we know that there's teams ahead of us. We know that there could potentially be somebody rotating, so we got to be aware of that. We get that thirst, or get that down, just cannot quite get that thirst. Everybody's got self-revive these days, so you got to really be careful. And there's high alert. So TCAP gets a down. He doesn't quite get the thirst. There he does, and he says there's one other enemy. So this is where we kind of trade a little bit. TCAP has to reload, so I'm going to go ahead and challenge, guys. The one thing you got to just do here is execute. I mean, you just can't die to this guy. You've got to be able to get this kill, and if you do lose this gunfight, that's just completely on you. That's just anticipation. That's seeing him, and that's hitting high damage areas and just hitting shots. So we both have 19 at this point. We've got 2 other teams. We've got 5 other people, and we know exactly where they are. Now, once again, when we talk about, you know, in circle with cover, then high ground, right here, guys, this is a great example. We have high ground, but because we have cover, they can't get me down here unless they call in a precision or a cluster or something like that. So I just drop down. I'm able to play it up, and then we're right back in the fight. We got 19 apiece. We've got, what is this, a 2v2 situation now? So we're going to be able to get that knock. TCAP gets that kill right there. I'm going to go ahead and full send the last guy. He's going to stay up top and keep playing that power position just in case I die, just in case anything happens. But we're going to go ahead. We're going to be able to knock that guy as TCAP comes. He's on the backside. We get the execution of finished, and that is a double 20 kill game right there. Just a super clean game, acting on information, really good positioning throughout. And that's why this is the best game that I've had just yet. We're only going to keep building on this. 25s is next, dropping a double 25-50 kill game. So I hope you found today's video helpful. As I always say, let's get better today, and I will see you tomorrow.